Robby, what's on your radar?
Well, last night I went to grab a bite to eat at the Big Board, a restaurant and bar in the 8th Street neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Big Board has been in the news a lot lately because its owner, Eric Flannery, is refusing to enforce D.C.'s COVID mandates. The city retaliated. First, it took away his liquor license, and then, just yesterday, just as I arrived, in fact, D.C. Health posted a notice on its door officially shutting down the restaurant. But the Big Board still served food last night, and it had some noteworthy customers. Senator Rand Paul and House Representative Thomas Massie, two Republicans known for opposing COVID mandates, they visited the restaurant and thanked the owner for making a stand. Senator Paul said, quote, "I'm proud of the owner for not submitting." Flannery said he didn't think the government could force restaurant servers to inspect customers' medical records. "I'm just a little old bar owner," he said, reciting the names of his regular customers. "I've been down here for 10 years and I love everybody who comes." The Big Board followed all the city's COVID-19 requirements from the outset. But at this point in the pandemic, the mandates are an infringement on his restaurant's welcoming ethos, said Flannery. He was particularly passionate about allowing his staff to forego masks. If checking vaccine cards was so critically important, the city could send people to do that, he said. "I don't have the people for that. I just know that I'm doing the right thing and this place is supposed to be open." Here's some more of what he had to say.
Came down here, we went all the way through, and by the time we were done May 27th, we were reopened. And I decided that this bar was going to be what it is, which is a place where everybody is welcome. No matter what happened, that's what we were going to be. My servers, they are not lesser people that need to be masked. They don't carry disease. They wash their hands, they're clean, they follow all of the health guidance, all of the regulations that are there with that. Since I announced on Twitter, hey, this is what we're going to do, the Department of Health has been here 4 times. The ABRA, which is the DC licensing agency, has been here 8 or 9 times.
That's an important quote. He said, "My servers are not lesser people. They don't need to be masked. They don't carry disease." It's a powerful sentiment, and it's true. Now, the Big Board is far from the only D.C. establishment to decline to follow the city's masking and vaccination requirements, but it is the first to do so vocally. D.C.'s Alcoholic Beverage Regulation Administration has issued 50 verbal warnings to various restaurants whose staff failed to mask up at all times. Customers, of course, don't wear masks while they're eating and drinking. Intentionally or not, such requirements are creating a second class of serving staff who must follow stricter rules than other people, even though there is no scientific support for the idea that one group is more prone to disease than any other. Increasingly, in liberal enclaves where Team Blue governs, the upper class is maskless in a variety of scenarios, while the working class is still masked. We saw that at the Met Gala, where AOC partied with other celebrities and shed masks for the camera, with the little people behind her in the shadows, off to the sides. Well, they had to keep wearing their masks. And of course, the literally little people, kids, are the most aggressively masked demographic in the entire country. Gavin Newsom can shed his mask, violate whatever COVID policy whenever he wants, but working people and their families and their school children, well, for them, rules are rules. Now, both Paul and Massie told me that D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser's enforcement of the mandate was illegitimate. Massie said, quote, "Congress has allowed you to make these rules and you've shown yourself unsuitable." And Paul added, quote, "We have a bill in the House and the Senate to take away the authority to enforce these mandates." The Big Board served burgers, fries, and water, no booze, alas, in light of the liquor license suspension, to the lawmakers and their staff. So it was really a kind of a party. I mean, they're going to try to resist this. He's going to go to court. It's a very bold stand, one that has put his establishment in immediate jeopardy, and they're not able to serve alcohol. They might not even be able to serve food. This is and both Paul and Massie were like, "Look, we know this is not a choice most businesses can make, or we're not saying you should make this, but this is just ridiculous, and it's nice to see someone say this is ridiculous, that I don't want to treat my staff this way. I don't want to treat my customers this way." And like, for what? I don't know if you saw the numbers. We had like 60 new cases in the district. 60.
Yeah, it's like
That's
60.
Like nothing.
Yes.
It's nothing. It is over here. It is fallen. We are on the other side of this. I don't know what additional benefit you're getting from telling the small number of unvaccinated people in the city that they couldn't go to this bar, for telling the wait staff that they have to wear a mask. Like, who cares?
Are people crowdfunding the place?
Yeah. There's a GoFundMe. Full disclosure, I contributed to it. It was raised by Henry Rogers, who's a reporter for the Daily Caller. So that's
right,
good.
So that'll probably help him survive.
Yeah, that's definitely helping him.
At least get him through the next couple weeks and months.
Yeah.
The point about the servers, I mean, he doesn't know if his servers are sick. They're probably not. They're boosted. Right. There's only 60 cases in D.C. Right. So the chance that they're one of those 60.
Maybe they've already had it.
And they've probably already had it.
Everyone has.
If they've been working through the pandemic.
I'm sure the average person in the city has both had COVID and the vaccination. It is probably
in
boosted.
the last month.
Yeah.
But the point about the servers having to wear masks while the customers don't is a poignant one, and it's a real one. And it's gross. I think if a server wants to wear a mask, no, they shouldn't be stigmatized. They should be allowed to, because if you're forcing somebody to work indoors just to feed their families or to stay alive, and they don't feel like taking their mask off to be there, that I'm totally fine with that. But they absolutely should not have to, because it sets up this awful dichotomy where you've got. I mean, in some of these bars, it's not rich people. Some of these are working class bars, but elsewhere you do have this situation where there's a servant class who's got their face covered, while everyone else who's indoors they're eating, and there's nothing epidemiologically about eating and drinking that makes you immune from catching disease. So what they're saying is that it'll be more fun for you to eat with your mask off, other than like go outside and take a bite and come back inside. So we're going to allow that, and we don't care if the server for the next 12 hours is walking around with this mask on, even if the server is boosted and got Omicron a month ago.
I don't understand why it just can't be like, if there could be some bars or restaurants that are like, we're just a super cautious place. That's what we do. Our staff is all going to be, very masked, and we're going to require vaccinations. And we're going to cater to the very cautious customer.
Fine, the Bethesda restaurants.
Sure, if you're a very cautious person, that can be your place. But for the large number of us who are vaccinated and have already had it and don't care anymore, and fine, whatever, I'll get a cold. So however many times a year this usually happens to me, because that's just what happens if you're out and about, and I accept that, and so does the staff, and so does why can't we? It's all consensual between everyone in this exchange, and the government's saying, no, we really don't.
And the guy must care a lot, because he probably could have just coasted.
Yeah. Or he could have just done it quietly.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I know restaurants in D.C., because I'm following this pretty closely, that are not being militant about this, that are not checking, that are not. And if you looked at that, so that report I put up, that's all. And that report is so obnoxious. This is all from ABRA, which is the bureau that gives you your alcohol license in the district, and it's every violation of those 50 is like, oh yeah, the staff mask slipped briefly, so we wrote you up. Right. Come on, it's so ridiculous.
Right, you could get everybody for that, but yeah, there are plenty of establishments, that are kind of just pretending to follow the guidelines, and if he'd have done that, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
So this must be a matter of beyond that.
But he didn't start out, as far as I can tell, I mean, I don't know exactly what his politics are. I don't think he started out as some radical, anti-public health person or something. He said he did everything all the way along. He said he would go pick up his staff and in the mornings, drop them off in the evenings. He said they would drive past restaurants and be like, oh, they're not doing everything they're not supposed to. They're not doing everything they're supposed to. It's just in this latest, I think, post-vaccination, around May, they reopened, and he's like, well, why?
Right. It's a vibes argument. It's like it's harshing the vibes here. He seems to have a place where the vibe is an open and welcoming place, and
it's a sports bar. You come in, you have a beer. We're not going to hassle you, that kind of thing. So, anyway, best of luck to him. I'm looking forward to your radar next, Ryan.